Hi, my name is Keith, and I'm known as a Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to talk to you all about why your guides and why your angels might leave. Now, I'm specifically going to speak more about the aspect of angels, because that's what I work with, and that's what I teach people how to connect to. I don't teach about ancestors, but I do teach about angels. Well, I teach a little bit about ancestors here and there, just because it's relevant, because usually most of the time, your ancestors are getting help from your angels to help you because angels hold such a high vibration and they can do some extra things because they're the helpers to humanity and God sends them, especially when people ask. Now, people don't talk about this often, do they? Why would your angels leave you? People don't think angels leave them, but it's always a possibility. Let's just say that. So, there's two types of leaving. There's one type of leaving where the angel's just nearby and it's not doing much. It's like, okay, I'm either tired or I'm just, I'm here, but I'm gonna do some, but this person's kind of like really off track. Or like they're doing a certain thing to kind of put other people down. Maybe they're not close to God. Maybe that angel just, it depends. There's 100,000 different circumstances. The biggest thing ever, specifically when it comes to angels, you have to be close to God to be able to connect to your angels. That's just how it is. They're literally the helpers to humanity, and God sends them. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, and to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, young lion and the dragon shall trample on her feet. What does this mean? This means that basically angels are there to help us. But the further away you move from God, the further away your angels will move away from you. Now, there's many different circumstances, right? So there's circumstances as to maybe your angels see some kind of potential in you, because there have been people who are super, super dark, but they have angels around them. Usually those angels are correcting that person because they know for a fact that person has potential in there to become light. Now, if that person has zero potential to go towards the light and closer to God and to help people and to change lives, etc., then the angels will probably just bolt. But the thing is, if your angels see like, hey, this person, no matter whatever this person has done in their life, no matter how bad this person has been in the past, no matter what this person has, like, there's potential and there's a future possibility that this person might become good. Your angels will stick around. Maybe you'll just have one angel left. That's usually how it goes. So for the worst and worst and worst of people who have that spark of potential, that's all it takes. That little spark of potential can burn down a forest and make a good person. That's why I vouch for you guys to do return to senders. Now, and when you return negative energy to the sender, it goes back to the sender, and it usually makes them a better person because here's a little secret. If that person's angels are around, their angels are helping you return their energy that they sent towards you back to them, but they're sending it back to them themselves in their own little specific way to help teach that person a lesson. It's kind of funny because it's like, wait a second. And it's not funny in a sense, but it's like, wait a second. This person, they're their own angels doing the return to sender too. That's usually how it goes. When your guides love and care about you, they will do it for you. And what I think is funny is people don't figure that out. Like, people are like, wait. Like, what? It's kind of like when you have parents and they catch you doing something wrong and like, how dare you? Don't do that again. You're like, ah. But, that's a secret that people don't really know. It's usually your own guides spanking you on the butt like, hey, don't send that curse. Don't do that. And the thing is, a lot of you do learn. When everything is taken from you and they see that spark of potential in you and they know that there's a good person there and you're worth saving, and they'll stick around and they'll help you. But what happens if you're such a rotten person, such a nasty person at the core in your soul, where every avenue, every route just turns to you getting worse and worse and darker and even further away from God, and then you start pushing other people away from God? By the way, I sing before my videos because when I make your crystal jewelry, guys, I'm usually singing and I'm happy and I'm high vibration. So in the future, I make the crystal jewelry after the videos, but I'm very amped up and energized, especially about this topic. But also, if you like your own crystal jewelry, go to floridastoneman.com. But when it comes to angels, when they see that there's nothing left, this person's rotten, they're hurting people, they're putting people down, nothing good is coming from this person, then the angels have a potential of bolting. They could temporarily bolt, which, when the person's dark and they have a spark of potential, the person will kind of, like, the angel will kind of stick around and be like, hey, I'm on standby, I'm here to help this person, I'm not really saying much, I'm not really doing much besides the general angel stuff, the guardian angel stuff. But when it comes to that person, and there's no turning back. No turning back. Like, this person's foul. This is a person that can't be saved no matter what. No matter how many divine interventions, they will not move closer to God. This rotten person. Then things start to happen. Very, very, very specific things start to happen. So, that person will have their angels leave. There's an angelic code to, I'm not going to go into it, but there's something where the angel is basically revoked. They leave. They're like, oh, gone. They hit, like, it's like a button. It's like, okay, this person has done everything to deserve their angel to go and leave. Because that angel could be helping someone else. That person's not worth helping anymore. The angels, their energy is being exhausted. The angel's kind of being tortured at that point because they're seeing the person do so much bad and there's no saving them. And the angel will just leave. That does happen to certain people. It happens to less people than you think, but also more people than you think as well. When that does happen, dark guides step in. And this is the most disgusting part, because I've seen people on TikTok like, haha, cool, dark guides. There's nothing cool about a dark guide. They'll do everything to get every ounce of energy out of you, and as soon as they have what they need, they usually cause one big, like, just ruckus, and then they leave. I've known many people who've had dark guides. Once their guide gets to a certain level, like a certain amount of energy to the point where they don't need to attach themselves to the person to be able to do stuff or to do things, they're like, haha, I got energy now, I don't need you. And they usually go, and they slap the person. They usually slap family members. They'll do a possession. They'll do some kind of just dramatic leave. Like, it'll be in a fit of anger. Sometimes people actually see the entity that was attached to the person because it becomes so strong to the point where you can physically see it with your third eyes. Because people can see this thing. And I've heard so many different stories about when people have a dark guide ready to leave. It's kind of like a parasite a leech when it gets fat and it's ready to fall off. It just spits the blood everywhere and it gets very messy. Now it depends on the level demon. If it's a lower level demon and it just needs to level up a little more, it'll stay with you for like a year or two, then go to someone else. It'll find like a serial killer or something there. It'll go to another country. It'll go to a different place because it has the energy to go latch on to someone else. But the thing is, and there are so many different scenarios. I'm not going to say examples because it's actually pretty gruesome. Sometimes the entity will pass through someone and give them some kind of like ailment. I can't really say this because it's not really meant to be said, but just the point is, people who have their angels leave and guides leave, because when your angels leave, you better, like, all the good ancestors have already left. Like, the ancestors will leave before your angel. They will fully leave, unless some of the ancestors are kind of unelevated and bad and doing bad themselves, and their soul is on a downward spiral anyway. And that ancestor can't do much anyway. You think a dark ancestor can do much? No. They can barely cross a line of salt. Like, actually can't cross a line of salt. There's spiritual laws, because certain people, you're like, oh, I've had this very evil uncle, and now he died. I wonder what he's in the afterlife. He's lost in the afterlife. And they usually spiral and become crazy and become more evil. Or it really depends, because there's 100,000 different ways it can go. There's different dimensional things that can happen. Judgment is up to the creator. But usually what happens to a dark ancestor is they'll spiral. What does this have any relevance? It's because what makes your guide leave? What makes your main angel leave? Most of you have if you're watching this channel mainly, you have a main angel. Especially because people's guardian angels direct them towards my channel. They're just like, hey, get help from this dude. Usually your guardian angels, like I said, work with your ancestors. So by the time, and your ancestors can leave for whatever reasons, because sometimes they just rather help someone else. in your family. They're just like, okay, I don't really resonate with what this person's doing. Maybe this person needs more help. But usually doing dark things will run away beings of light. It shouldn't be a surprise. But when these dark guides step in, things get crazy. And it's actually very entertaining for certain people, because dark guides will put on a show. Dark guides are the best, most entertaining readers. They can do things, they can move things. Well, angels can move things too, but they'll put on a show. They'll put on a big giant show just to get your attention, because attention is energy, and that's light to them. You're basically feeding them. Once they have enough attention and energy, they'll just bolt. They do their little dramatic show and bolt. And some dark guides can be very sweet and very nice. But I've said this before, just because someone's sweet and nice and funny and doesn't mean they're actually good. Let's just say that. Like I said, they'll put on a show, they'll put on an act. When they have what they have, they'll lash out and be like, bah! And then take off. It always happens. There's no exceptions. Unless you're someone who's really, really high up. I can't say anything about that, but usually these things that level up go to somewhere else. That's to someone else who has more authority, more position. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys can put two and two together. Once they have enough energy from you, they like to go to I can't say where these dark guides go, because it essentially doesn't matter. I'm talking about, this video is all about what happens to you guys. So basically, when your angels step away and your guides step away, the darkest of things will step in, temporarily use you for like a year or 2 years, sometimes 3 years or 4 years, then go somewhere like Hollywood. I mean, just a little hint. So, like I said, you gotta put two and two together. I'm just gonna give you some of the gems on this channel. You guys gotta put stuff together by yourself. Like, it's really obvious. Some people are literally screaming in their songs, "Devil!" Like, put it together. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. So, back to my topic. Because I wasn't supposed to give you guys the detail. I'm supposed to keep certain things a secret. But when it comes to, why else might your guides leave besides you being really dark? Oh, God. Why else might your guides leave besides you being really dark? Well, if you are full of hubris, cockiness, if you think you know everything, if you tend to blame your guides for everything, what else? That's pretty much it. Your guides will leave when you act dark. That's the sum of this video. From the start of this video to the end of this video, why would a being of light leave you? It's because you're being a being of darkness. Everything you do is dark. Sometimes guides leave temporarily. Sometimes they'll be on standby. Most likely they're on standby. They'll be on standby for a while, maybe a few lifetimes until you get it right. And then they just kind of like, once you crave light, they'll step in and be like, "Hi, you're doing better. Cool. Hello." But if you're the darkest soul and you're on your way to hell, and that takes a lot. And trust me, people are willing to do a lot. People are definitely willing to do a lot. There's people who are doing the actual worst and worst and worst of black magic, witchcraft. And if you're a person who is close to God, which you will be protected from those people. There are spiritual laws protecting you from that. But if you engage in black magic, if you engage in psychic attack, if you engage in certain things, then your protections are revoked. It's kind of like it's supposed to be a scare. It's supposed to be like, you stay away from that. It's supposed to be like, hey, this will happen if you, like, people don't ever put the two together, but if you put this energy out, you're opening yourself to this energy. Now you're susceptible to this energy. It shouldn't be a surprise. For example, if someone's doing black magic on you in curses, instead of you doing return to senders and sending it back and cleansing, if you're someone who engages in just say, "Oh, I'm going to curse this person back," and you start doing all the most heinous black magic, whatever they're sending you is going to hit you, because your guide of light is like, "Hey, this person needs to learn, and they're not learning from me telling them. They're not learning through the intuition, etc." And this person, they will have the protections like muffled like a fire. And the person will learn. This person will fully learn. Well, not fully learn, because some people are out here doing the worst and worst of things and they actually never learn. But the point is, why would your guides leave you? It's really simple. Dark things will attract dark circumstances and dark guides. And like I said, if you're one of those people like, haha, I got a dark guide. Yeah, your guide can be banished with sea salt. That's not something to be proud of. There's people, and dark guides have heavy spiritual and just heavy laws on them. For example, the people who have dark guides because they've scared their ancestors off will have the most chronic, worst headaches ever because that guide is sitting on their crown chakra because something else left. What happens is something will always fill a space if your guides made space for something else to get in, because you better believe your guides really love and care about you. They'll do everything to protect you. So usually when you're out in public and you're in a crowd of a whole bunch of people, your guides are just pushing things away and off of you without you even seeing it. You don't know what your guardian angels do. Your guardian angels do so much work for you guys and you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. But most importantly, move yourself closer to God, guys. Become the highest versions of yourself. Evaluate your intentions. Ask God to show you where you're going wrong. If you feel like what you're having is some kind of karma from a past life, a karma from this life, things you don't even know about. Okay. But what runs off a guide? And like I said, you being super cocky, like, ha ha ha, I am God, or like, because TikTok will have videos promoting that, and that's demonic behavior. Literally, demonic entities will be like, you are the God. Oh, put this on a video. And then people who are able to see dark entities and listen to their advice will make videos, and then not only does the dark entity get the karma, but the person will get the karma as well. And anything pushing, and sometimes your guides will be like, okay, this person's on their own, and they're teaching people. I don't know, if they're on their own, and they're just going, whatever darkness they're encased in themselves, versus when that person decides to go and start teaching other people darkness, and now you have 1,000 people doing dark things because of that one dark person, that guide will leave, because now you have 1,000 karma. Karma as in like points, but when you do dark things and you teach people to do it, when you do dark things and you start teaching about it, now for every person who has done something dark because of you, that karma goes back on the person who taught it. And it speeds up whatever guides they have around them leaving. And usually when you have dark guides, things go downhill very fast. Like, very fast. Because these demonic entities will take care of you somewhat, but they can't elevate you. You'll be in a position where what you have is not really yours, and you can't really get out of whatever particular circumstances you are in. I'd like to use the Hollywood examples more, but my angels don't let me. They're just like, no, we can't talk about that in this video. But you guys have to put 2 and 2 together as well. I'm not going to tell you, like, oh, Stoneman said this, and, well, but I saw this video on TikTok. Put your own knowledge together, guys, because that's how you actually learn, actually understand. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.